Yes. Before Rabbi Kenigsberg speaks, people called me today, so I want to announce again that if you want to make arrangements for the lecture series on anti-Semitism, which begins this Saturday night at 8 o'clock, you can do so by contacting us by email, Elaine@jewishdestiny.com. Jewish Destiny, one word. Elaine@jewishdestiny.com. Thank you. Rabbi Kenigsberg, please. What? You can be here in person. Right. It's on Zoom and it's live. It's pretty much the same.
It's better live. Okay. Erev Tov, everyone. So we have in this week's parsha the mitzvah Vasuli Mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham, the mitzvah of building the Mishkan, Mikdash. And obviously on a pshat level, the Torah there is talking about the Mishkan, talking about that building. But we know throughout Chazal and Farshim, we talk about the Mikdash Me'at, which is our Beit Knesset. Beit Knesset is called a Mikdash Me'at. Many similarities that come up relating to dinim regarding the Mishkan or the Mikdash, regarding our Beit Knesset as well. So this is a machloket in the Rishonim. Is that a mitzvah d'oraita or d'rabanan in terms of the obligation of having a Kedushat, treating a Beit Knesset with respect? According to the Sefer Yereim, one of the Monei Mitzvot, he holds that we have another pasuk, so Shabtotai Tishmo Mikdashi Tilau, that he understands that is related to a Beit Mikdash, that to a Beit Knesset, excuse me, that's a mitzvah d'oraita to treat it with sanctity. According to many other Mefarshim, it's a mitzvah d'rabanan. But in any event, so I thought we'll learn together some of the sources that are brought in Isuma Merabanan. This is volume 12, which we never got to in our Shiur. We started at volume 1 and we skipped to volume 16. So there's a lot in the middle that leaves us. But so volume 12, there's a few sources. He has some interesting discussions that come up relating to Kedushat Beit Knesset, sanctity of the shul. So we'll look at a few of these, a few of the things that come up. So there is a Gemara in Masechet Megillah that says that you cannot use a Beit Knesset as a kapandaria, or however you pronounce it. So the Gemara asks the question, which I'm sure many of you are thinking right now, which is, what is a kapandaria? And it says, my kapandaria, marava, kapandaria kishma. It's what it sounds like. Everybody knows what kapandaria means, right? So the Gemara explains, what does that mean, my kishma? What does it sound like? It explains that it's a type of a shortcut. The language where it comes from, the Gemara says, there's different ways of it's pronounced, but it says Kamanda Amar Makifna Adari Eubaha. In other words, what it means is the person there's a row of houses or row of buildings. The person says, I don't want to walk all the way around from one side to the other. I'll take a shortcut through one of the houses, through one of the buildings, use that as a shortcut. So it says the Gemara, one cannot use a Beit Knesset in this manner. That would be inappropriate. That would be disparaging. You're just using it as a way to get, shorter way to get from A to B. No, you have the Beit Knesset. You come into it to daven, to learn, to whatever it is. That is what the Gemara says. So the Shulchan Aruch brings us. He says, "Ayul Beit Knesset shnei ptachim." Okay, so let's say you have a shul that has two entrances. Lo yikanes b'petach zeh lasoto derech latzet b'petach hasheni lakatzer darko. If you're going to walk in from one door in order that you want to get to the other side and you're going to use it as a shortcut, says that is forbidden. What's that?
You could say some psuk.
Oh, you could say so. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that exactly. So then he says, if this was there, this was your path before they built the shul, and this is the way you walk every day, and now they've built a shul over your path. Okay, so then you can still, that's okay. He also says that if you walk inside, you didn't walk in order to use it as a shortcut. This was the shul where you were, and this is you've got your shiur, or you've come for mincha, or whatever it is, and it happens to be that you're going to walk out the other door, and that will be easier. You don't have to go back out the first door, walk all the way around. No, that's okay. You came in for a permitted purpose. You can do that, and then you can walk out. וכשנכנס פה להתפלל, מותר למי שנכנס בפתח זה לצאת בפתח אחר. Right, same thing. If you come into daven, you walk in one side, you can go out the other side. That's all fine. Now, the Be'er Alacham mentions here what David said, which is that let's say you are going to come into the shul, you want to use it as a shortcut. So if you come inside and you just say a pasuk or something like that, is that enough? So the Be'er Alacham says, Lasoto derech, he says, Im lo sheyikra or sheyisheh shamat. Right? Either if you're not going, where do we say you cannot go and you can't use it as a shortcut? This is disparaging. If you just walk through, but you're not doing anything related to Kedusha inside the Beit Knesset. So if you are sitting and you are learning, okay, that would be okay. He also says, interesting, or sheyisheh sham ma'at. You're going to stay there. You're going to sit there for a little bit. Why? That's based on the pasuk that we all know that we say every day. It says, Ashrei yoshvei veitecha. So there is a certain element of mitzvah of just being in the shul and right, taking in the kedusha of the place. That may be, that in and of itself may be enough. We'll get to that in a moment as well. So that is brought in the Biur Halacha, it's brought in some other sources. Let me read to you the Piskei Tshuvot, which appears here, because not everybody agrees. This is so simple and so straightforward. He says, "Kama מהפוסקים חולקים על קביעה זו להתיר כפנדריה על ידי שהייה מעט או אמירת פסוק." Okay, not everybody is so satisfied with this. You're going to use the shul as a shortcut, but you're going to walk in, and as you're using it as a shortcut, okay, you'll say your pasuk, Torah tzivalenu Moshe Ma'asha Kilat Yaakov, whatever it is. Meaning, if you're sitting down and learning and using the place, then of course it's fine. But you're just saying it, or you
not the same building. Means you got to go through, let's say, the shul, but then you're going to spend 2 hours in the building learning or whatever. Is that okay?
If you're going to be, if you're going to be inside, that's what we said before. If you're coming into the place and you're going to learn,
like a place that you were using for a shortcut, you're using someplace else in the building.
I don't know. You're coming into the shul anyway,
No,
and then I don't.
The building has 3 entrances.
Okay.
And you want to take the one that's closest to you. So you're walking in the building and you can say your pasuk, but you're not going to spend any time in the place. You're going to, in that shul, you're going to spend it in another room for a couple of hours in another room.
But you're walking through a room that is used as a Beit Knesset to another room that you're going to spend time in.
Right, correct.
Instead of going around.
You're asking if there's different rooms within the same building. Do we have to? Okay, let's for now let's assume that the one we're talking about the building. The building is the shul. If you're walking in, you're coming. That's okay. But again, the question is, the situation is you're not coming in for the sake of learning or for anything. You're just literally you're entering the building to use it as a shortcut to get out the other side. So he says not everybody's so happy about this idea of you could just say a pasuk or something like that. סוברים שאין היתר זה אמור, אלא כשנכנס לבית הכנסת, כדי לקרוא לחברו וכיוצא בזה. It's also brought earlier in the Shulchan Aruch, that just to walk in, part of the Kedushat Beit Knesset, you just want to come in to call somebody, says that you shouldn't do that. That's not just to. So if you're coming in for that purpose, you're coming in to call somebody who's there, so come in, say your pasuk, whatever it is, there it said. אבל אם כדי לחלוף ולעבור בבית הכנסת כדי לקצר דרכו. Again, if your primary purpose, your only purpose, is just to use it as a shortcut, אין יותר אפילו באמירת פסוק, or those who say, no good to say the pasuk, כל שכן הם עושה זאת בקביעות. Okay, and certainly if it's going to be every day, or it's a fixed something that you do, that's not okay. דהיתר דשיית מעט ואמירת פסוק לא נאמר אלא בעושה באקראי, ולא בדרך קביעות. This heter, if we're going to rely on it, it happened occasionally, it happened once in a while, not as a fixed practice. It says, אם אין אפשרות להגיע למקום מסוים, אלא כשעובר דרך בית הכנסת, יש מקום להקל על ידי שהיה קצת או מאוד פסוק. If you want to get from place A to B, and there's no way to get there, the only way is to walk through the shul building. Okay, so then rely on this. Okay, I'll get to in a moment. Get to a very interesting and practical application of all of this that comes up. They bring in here, by the way, the Alkut Yosef mentions a few extra details. He says, what we've just said, you shouldn't go into the shul if it's not for the purpose of a mitzvah, for tefillah, Torah, etc. And then he says, like this. אף על פי שאין נכנסים לבית הכנסת כדי להינצל מן הגשמים. Okay. Also part of not going in just to use it for not to use it as a shortcut. The Gemara says don't go in if it's raining, so you're going to come and find the shul as a place of cover just for that purpose. It says no. It says מכל מקום, אם היה לומד בחוץ וירדו גשמים ורוצה להיכנס לבית הכנסת בני שיש מטר בחוץ מותר. So if you were sitting outside and you were learning, and then it starts raining, okay, so you don't have to say, I'm going to be super from, I'm sitting outside and learning, and now it's raining, I'll sit outside and learn in the rain. No, you can come inside to the shul and learn, you're still learning, even though now you're going to get shelter from the rain. That's fine, you're coming in to learn, that's not called, okay. מותר בימות הגשמים, יש לזה שלא להיכנס לבית הכנסת עד שיקנח מן עליו. Okay, בסדר. So now, question comes up, and there's a whole section here in this book about touring ancient synagogues. Okay, people, when you go visiting different places, it could be in Israel, it could be in Chutz La'aretz, different times. So many times a person goes to a place, and there are two different descriptions here. Sometimes you go to a place which is maybe an archaeological site or something is an ancient synagogue, which is not there anymore. It's a place where it was a Beit Knesset. The Gemara says, by the way, that to a certain extent, for sure, even after it's destroyed, that a Beit Knesset retains a certain level of sanctity. So you go somewhere and you see a place, if you just be walking through, there used to be a Beit Knesset. Is that permitted? You're not going in for the sake of learning, you're not going into daven, you're not going into anything else, just to see it. Or it could be, again, a Beit Knesset that is still standing. You have this many places. Maybe doesn't function anymore as a Beit Knesset, maybe it functions as a museum, maybe it functions as a tourist attraction, something like that. Essentially, are we allowed to can a Beit Knesset double up as a tourist attraction? Is that okay if one is walking through? Obviously, so based on what we said, the best thing to do, and many of the tours in these places where you want to go around, you want to tour an old shul, you go inside, you sit there, you learn something, you learn or you have a shiur, or you learn a mishnah, or whatever it is when you're sitting inside. That way you get to see it. That way you're using the place for the purpose of Kedushat, and that would be no question. Question is, if you're doing it without that, would that be okay? Would that be possible as well? I remember a few years ago I went on a trip to Poland, and we were in I think we were in Krakow over Shabbat. In different places, you go in there's old Beit Knesset. You go in and see, every second building there is was a Beit Knesset. Turned into this, turned into that. We actually realized that the hotel that we were staying in, I think it was on Shabbat morning or afterwards, we're looking at one of the walls, and there was a picture of an old shul that used to be in that place. And then you realize, and you read the caption underneath, it says that shul actually was the hotel. It was a shul. It was abandoned. There was no one there. They reconstructed it, and that was the hotel that we were staying in. Is that so that these issues raise all of their own questions? But again, we'll discuss more tomorrow evening. Rabbi Hanania ben Akasha Amer Sakadosh Baruch Hu lezakot Yisrael. לפיכך קבל להם תורה מצוות שנאמר דרך חפץ למען צדקו יגדיר תורה ויד.